right. We are back. The Eric
Hey.
and Tony Show, episode 33, our Larry Bird episode.
Yeah.
Do you play basketball ever?
Eric, no, man, no, I didn't play basketball. Not unless I lost
Before
a
I
bet.
knew you.
It was like challenged. Unless it was required in school, I didn't play basketball.
How do you think like back in the day, like those older players would like size up to like now like players? Like you think like all athletics has just like changed so much where it's like
I still think Michael Jordan would fucking hold his own. I think Larry Bird would still be good. I think there's like certain dudes that were just like really good. You look at that, The Last Dance documentary. Again, for someone that doesn't play sports or really give a shit,
yeah.
that was a great documentary. It's a good time capsule of like the 90s as far as us when we were kids and pop culture. And then you hear the stories of like, Jordan's like rookie year and everybody in like, this guy's all hype. And then he gets on the court and he's like, oh, this guy's the shit. Like this guy is basketball. Like I still think, and the same thing too with like, in baseball with like, the Nolan Ryans and shit. And like, there's certain people that are just like, I don't think Babe Ruth would hold up anymore.
Yeah.
For sure. Like that's definitely not a thing. Like he was just like there's no like,
it was like
minorities in the league. And he was just like, and those guys, like, it was just a different thing where like they weren't conditioned all the time. Like the same way that like MMA now is different than when like UFC first came out and you rented the videotapes from like the gas station, right? Those dudes were like just legit mixed martial arts and randomly compared. Now they're trained at all those things. So it's like a super version. That's how like, especially professional baseball is, because those guys would play baseball for like a few months and then go back to being like a lumberjack and shit. And it's just like, oh, you got to swing from swinging an axe. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of those like older athletes, like they didn't have the information that they have now, like with, athletics and sports medicine and stuff like that.
These dudes like be smoking cigarettes in the dugout and shit to open up their lungs. Like,
right.
it's like
That's what I'm saying.
crazy.
Like, so like if you took like the best team from like, 1950 or something and then put them up against like the worst team now, like it would be like a
they'd be like,
slaughterhouse.
those guys from like the 1950s, like, what are these guys? Aliens? Like they're fucking like,
They're like
superhumans.
there's blacks on the field.
Get an umpire.
Get an umpire. This is unacceptable. Yeah.
Get an adult. Yeah.
It's like I always think about that. And then the equipment too, like the equipment's like football equipment, even from when I started playing football, like in 4th grade to like when I graduated, it changed a little bit. But then like from then, like 20 years ago to now, like the helmets are like aerodynamic and have like all this protective stuff. And like even the game itself changed where like you're not allowed to just like straight up tackle. Like my brother's kids play football. And they're not allowed to just like go and tackle a kid. They have to like go
Excuse
for
me,
the
I'm gonna tackle you.
Yeah, they have to like go for the legs and like do a roll thing. And like there's all these like drills we used to do, like the Nutcracker is one where you lay on the ground head to head with somebody, and then the coach will blow a whistle, and then you get up as fast as you can and you just fucking try to tackle the other guy. It's just like barbaric. Or you say, or you're like there's like a little bit of distance in between you, so you can get a little bit of a run, and then you tackle the guy. Like they're not allowed to like do any of that shit anymore. It's all like very PC and like,
Well, I mean, look at it this way though. It's like preserving some of their brain, because all those kids that got like concussions that like will never go on to play professional sports and just like fucked your brain up.
For sure.
All the other Erics out there that are like
I'm definitely dumber
mentally
from playing
disabled
that
from
shit.
playing a sport that never went anywhere.
Like there's like a CTE, I think it's called. It's like from getting concussed a lot and like playing like tackle football, and it's like a thing like where it's like people have like depression and suicide and all these like things, and I'm like, all right, well, at least one of those boxes checked.
Check.
Yeah, I'm like, I wonder how much that really like fucked my head up from like just doing that from 4th grade, and then even before then, before I was even like officially on a team, you're like tackling and doing dumb shit, and like it's like constantly falling down. Like think about it, like every day for like 2 hours every day, and then in the summer it's like you do 2 days, so you do that in the morning and then at lunch, so 4 hours for like months at a time. You're just tackling and like getting concussed and like hitting your head and like all the time. And then the coaches would like throw rocks at our helmets.
That's hilarious. Hey, stupid.
Yeah, and because it would sound like your head was in a bell. Like it would be like bong, so like get your attention. They fucking whip a rock at your head or like whap your head with the whistle and it ding, like
That's hilarious.
like all sorts of fucked up shit. Plus the Nutcracker game. Plus like just like, all right, you guys just run at each other and hit each other. Like, all right, like I mean, in their defense, I mean, if I was like on the field that long, I'd be like, all right, this is boring. Like, fuck, let's see some shit, So these kids like fight basically in front of us.
I don't know. I mean, I definitely know I have had some concussions from like accidents and like just eating shit, like doing extreme sports like skateboarding and fucking like BMXing and shit. I've landed on my face a lot. Like that's something I'm proud of, but like I definitely like rattled the cage a few times where like I, just got up and you have like the irrational thoughts and you're like, I told you that, like when I was like boogie boarding, I fucking like everything just kind of hit my face, my neck got cracked back, and I got washed up on the fucking shore, and I was like, and my body was numb, and I'm like, oh, I'm fucking paralyzed. And yeah, exactly, washed up. I was like, oh shit, I'm like, it happened. I can't walk, and I was like, oh, my legs do work. I was like, but my fucking head my neck hurt so bad. I thought if I moved my head too many times, my head was just gonna fall off. Which clearly my brain's not working. If that was my rationale, I was like, all right, just lay here. I laid there and like tried to warm up in the sun.
It's just the water.
Yeah.
Just laying there. I did that once. I got the wind knocked out of me one time. I was there, like they had these trails and like some undeveloped like plot of land somewhere, and like me and a buddy went the backwoods and we had our bicycles and they had like a jump made, and so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this jump, and so I did the jump and totally like flung the bike out from underneath me and landed like straight on my back and was like. Just woke like I just wind knocked out of me. I'm like, ugh! And like, if you've never had the wind knocked out of you, so your body forgets how to breathe, and you're like,
I look at it like when you suck in a bag, and it's just like, oh shit! Like, and sometimes it's tough to pull it back out, and you're like, oh come on, please get some air back in. Please.
Yeah. I was scary. I was like punching myself. I'm like, like live. I was like doing that to myself. I'm like,
you're too young to die.
Live me. It was like stuff. It was so crazy, and I remember him just laughing at me. He was laughing. He was crying, laughing. I was like, this is like not funny. I'm like, I could be dying right now. Like fucking go get help or something. And then finally, got some air.
The craziest thing about all those like childhood accidents that you have and stuff, or injuries. Like yesterday, I took my kid to go ride his bike and shit. So we're doing that. I'm making sure he doesn't fall and stuff. And as we're coming back up, he falls going up the stairs. Yeah, truly is his father's son. Yeah, just like got his hands full of like Matchbox cars, and then he had an actual they make these cough drop suckers now, right? But they're not the safety pops. They still have the stick in there. So I'm like, can we just make him like the ones that I'm not gonna worry about him jamming that shit in his throat and stuff? And he's got his hands full, and he ended up falling. He like kind of scrapes his hand and stuff, and he's like, we take a bath later on, and like obviously the cut hurts his hand and shit. And I was like, oh buddy, this is like the fucking like minimal scrapes. Like wait till you really get injured, like stitches and shit. And then that also gets me paranoid because I'm like, one of these kids in his class like fell, and she bit her like teeth through her like bottom lip, and had to get like. They didn't want to get stitches, so there's like a liquid band, like all this shit. And I was like, oh man, like he's gonna get all that stuff. Like kids, it's a rite of passage. You know what I mean? Like the bumps and bruises and
kids get fucked up.
Yeah. So like, I'm just like, shit, looking down the road at that kind of stuff. And we'll have to cross those chapters.
What about like sports? Have you thought about getting him going in any
He's gonna
sports?
start playing sports.
Like, do you know which ones or like?
He's liking basketball and he's liking soccer so far, which I'm cool with because both of those are like, in a sense, like. Contactless sports. And I guess, the chances of him getting his brain rattled and stuff is like a lot less.
Football is a good sport. It does toughen you up a little bit. Like I remember just like even from a young age, like you're just bruised up and beat up and whatever. So like if you like walk into a table or you get a cut or something, you're just like, yeah, whatever. That's like nothing compared to like having like someone run at you and beat you up, tackle you, and like, you get like kind of accustomed to like that kind of pain, I guess. Even like getting cut and like bleeding and stuff during those sports, like it's so cold out most of the time when you're playing, especially in Wisconsin, playing football in like 30-degree weather a lot of the times, or it's snowing and shit, and like you'll get cut and it'll just be like you'll feel some like something dripping.
You see the steam coming out of your
you'll just see like you'll feel like water. It feels like water is dripping. Like, oh, what am I, like something leaking? And you're like, oh, it's me. I'm bleeding. I'm like bleeding everywhere.
Like it's like blood is so thin, right?
Yeah.
And then it's just like the way I've like gotten. I didn't play football, but I definitely cut myself in the cold weather and stuff. And like your forehead bleeds real good, and you're just like, what is that? Is it like am I sweating? No, I can't be sweating. You're like, oh my god, it's blood. It's like Jesus Christ. Like, yeah, he'll go through all that shit, man, at some point in time, but.
Do you ever have any like sports that I know you didn't play a lot of sports, but like looking back, like do you wish you would have played anything or like focused on like a sport?
Baseball, for sure.
Baseball
was a sport that I legit like was planning on getting back into my entire childhood. And then it wasn't until I was like 24 that I was like, I'm never going to play baseball. I was like aged out of it. Cause I think we were watching like some World Series or something. I was like, dude, that's crazy. Like I obviously wasn't like, I'm going to go do a walk-on tryout for like a baseball team. I was just kind of like, oh shit, that was like something I like never got around to doing again. Like I got like a
Yeah.
job and just started working, and then we'd play. Like, I played like the bar league softball with like our buddies and stuff. But it was interesting towards the end of that, and like I finally like got like a swing developed and stuff. Like I think I probably could have been done pretty good with like my height and like just my pendulum swing. Like if I was trained properly, but like never had that and stuff. And like the only thing my dad ever taught me how to catch was a buzz. Yeah,
I was like fortunate. My dad was the opposite of that. Didn't never drank and like was like taking us to like
loved you and was there for you, supportive.
Like loved me and was supportive. Yeah, like he would take us to this
He
place
hit you
called.
He loved you.
Yeah, he did. He's like, I fucking love you, and like fucking hitting us and shit. He'd take us to this place called Mike Hegan's Batting Cages, and it was a ex Milwaukee Brewers player. And he would be there. He was like, he owned this place and he would be there and he would like coach kids and stuff. And I think my cousin was taught, he's like a pitcher or something, was like being like coached by him. But we would go there and like learn how to, hit and do the batting cages and all that stuff. And I always wondered like, if I would have like really, really focused, like there were so many kids that I played with that were like all into it and like, oh, I'm going to go major league and all this shit, and stuff. But that's like one of the sports too, that you can play like in older years. Like you can play like adult leagues. Like a lot of your friends that we've had on this podcast, they have adult like hardball leagues that they play in and like travel
Andy
and
Lazarus,
stuff.
only 2-time guest, is currently in Puerto Rico right now playing.
Yeah, I saw if you flew down there. But yeah, like something like that, or like golf. Like golf is something you can do until you're like 90 and shit, like some of those sports that you can do forever, or tennis, like those are things I never really got into. Like you and I golf, but we golf just like to drink and like fuck around, but like actually learning, like getting a coach and like having free lessons when you're in high school, basically you get like free lessons from like someone that knows what they're doing. Same thing with tennis. Like tennis is something that like you can go and find a tennis court anywhere in any town, and like, play tennis. Like, it's like
tennis and golf would be good, I think, for especially like the golf aspect, because there is a lot of like business aspects to like golf. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like a weird, like white collar deals are done on the golf course type of sport and shit. Like you don't really have that with like basketball. You know what I mean?
My uncle
press up on some guy like, hey Matt.
All my uncles play golf. They're huge golfers, and they're really good. One of my uncles was the next to go in. Like if there's like somebody that gets hurt in the PGA Tour or something, like they call up like another guy, and like he was one of the guys that they would call up for it. Like he got like that good at it just from like doing business deals and golfing like all the time. Like just got really fucking good at it.
Yeah.
Kind
I
of
wish
like
I was kind of like, hyper specialized in a sport. I just never did it.
Yeah. I mean, again, like then when you realize like the size and like the athleticism and stuff that like the people that are professional, unless it's like a Babe Ruth person or like a John Daly or like these anomalies that are just like fucking like slobs of people, but like are just fucking super duper athletic.
Yeah.
And then it makes you wonder like, what would they have been if they would have actually like, like really like honed in their body and like made their bodies like really,
but then there's
perfect.
the thing though, because there's like a natural like stride of things. Like I know from experience, like I'm a decent golfer when I'm not thinking about it. When I try to do like the elbow straight, this shit, I fuck everything up.
That's like bowling. Bowling's like the same. It's like you're thinking about it too much. It's like when you're just like kind of a couple beers in, fucking just throwing them down.
I give a shit. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I watched
That's
this.
how I feel those guys' approaches to like their professional sports. We're just like, fuck it. I don't know. Do I need to have a six pack? I just roll out through the beer gut and just kind of smoke a cigar in between innings.
I watched this video of this bowler who bowled the fastest. He bowls the fastest like out of anybody. It's fucking nuts. I don't know what it is. I think it's like 35 miles an hour.
Really?
Yeah, or something like that. I think it's 35, but
that's
it's
insane.
So like the way he bowls, it
that
looks
bowling
like
ball get a speeding ticket in the school zone.
Like like really, but it's like so he does it so smooth, and he like almost like extends his arm like so low that there's no like when you bowl there's like you throw it and there's like a little bit of a drop. His is like it's almost connected to the floor. He just like whips it back. It's like way the fuck behind his head, and then he just like lays it on the ground and just it goes so fast though. It was like the fastest. You got to check it out. It's fucking pretty cool. I don't know. Like look up fastest bowler in the world. Is fucking nuts. It's just like and the pins just explode, like absolutely explode.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm surprised bowling came back from COVID. I thought for sure that was like the most bacteria-ridden sport, like especially where you do it at a bowling alley when you're like eating nachos and shit, and then putting your fingers and stuff.
Yes, do you ever go bowling with somebody and they're like fucking bowling, they're eating nachos?
You guys want to share nachos?
And they're fucking like licking their fingers and shit. You're like, what the fuck, dude? You know how many finger? You like finger?
Dude, the craziest thing I've ever seen
that's like been,
with like finger foods. I was at like 24-hour fitness like before the pandemic. This guy's probably dead now, but like
from germs.
We're in one of those body pump classes, and you got the dumbbells and you got the like the bars.
Yeah.
A guy was eating Lunchables. Like fucking like grabbing the meats with his fingers and like grabbing the dumbbells. I'm like, oh my God, that's like silly putty for germs. Like you're just transferring from this to this and now you're eating that. I'm like, that is like the grossest thing. You know when you touch like metal in your hand sweat, you have that smell on your fingers?
Yeah.
Like your meat tastes like that. The cheese, all this
rusty.
shit. Yeah, just like.
I remember we went to the gym once with one of our buddies and like we were like, oh yeah, let's all go to the gym together. So we went to the gym and stuff and we're all like sweating and stuff. And like, he would just like take his hands that were on all like the metal bars and like all the rusty fucking dirty ass equipment. And he'd wipe his face with his hands. Like he's just like, woo, I'm tired. Like, man, I'm like, dude, that's so gross. Like you just got like all these people's fucking germs on your face. And like, it's like,
well, it's like a little kid. Like I literally look at that when like I'm with Anthony, because my son, where I just in the bathroom and he's just like holding onto the toilet seat. I'm like, oh, dude, that like you touched like the grossest of things. Like just full on pressed grip, just like tight as could be, because it's like holding them up. I'm like, all right, I mean, I got to burn your hands like with sanitizer and stuff. And I just like, and that's how kids get sick, dude, because he'll just touch stuff. And like this is really gross, but like we're in the processes of like, of wiping and stuff. Yeah. And then he got some poop on his hands and he almost like touched his. I'm like, dude, no, do not touch yourself. Like,
he's
come
like,
on, buddy.
Woo!
Yeah. That was close. He's like, he got the little like, marks on his eyes like the football. Woo! Sweated here.
It's crazy in there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude, that's funny. Like, another thing from like COVID that like I was surprised when I went back to Wisconsin. There's a roller skating ring. And all the roller skating rinks, even out here, are busy. Like back home, they were crazy busy. Like fucking.
Wait, you guys went roller skating?
No, but I drove by one. It's called Skate University. It used to be like, well, it's not Skate U anymore. It's called something else, but it's still there. And I was like, because everything else was shut down. Like a Walmart would close down. Like all this mom and pop closed down. All these places closed down.
Man, I thought for sure.
Yeah, that's what I said. We drove by and I'm like,
I guarantee it's a lot of people our age.
Dude, there was a line out the door. It was fucking freezing. It was 22 degrees and people were like waiting to get in. And I was like, dude, that's crazy. Like it's one of those like anomalies like bowling or, what is it? Roller skating or something else like that. Like one of those old timey fucking things.
Ice skating was the same thing. Ebel Park. On Bluemont. I think I had my first kiss there, dude.
Yeah.
Ice skating.
We have like Olympic training facility in Wisconsin.
Yeah, that was right across from my dad's house.
What the hell's the name of that place?
Pettit Center.
The Pettit Center, yeah.
What is the Pettit Center?
Yeah, we used to go like field trips and shit there. That was kind of cool too. It's like big.
Linda Blair trained there. Remember that from the Wheaties box?
What is it?
Not Linda Blair. That's the actress.
Is that
Bonnie Blair.
Isn't Linda Blair the one who did Exorcist?
Yeah, Linda Blair is the actress. Bonnie Blair is the ice skater.
She's like, ah.
Yeah. Oh man.
Bonnie Blair. Yeah.
Speaking of puking, dude.
What, you throw up lately?
My kid's just like been sick.
Dude, your kid is the sickest kid I've ever met in my life.
Kids are just sick. Kids are just sick all the time.
Your kid's always sick too, though. Like every time I call you, he's in the background. He's just open mouth coughing. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I almost want to hang
funny,
up.
Man,
I feel like I'm gonna get sick.
My delusional, like
you.
Dumb adult brain. When like my kid first started getting sick, I was like, I can't get that's a kid's sickness, and I was like, just not even worried about it. And then I got extremely sick.
you're shitting your pants and you got fucking shit marks on your face too. You're like.
But yeah, he's just like, kids don't know how to clear their throat or like, hot cup of loogie and stuff. So he just like will get mucus, and it's like whatever like sickness is going on. Like everyone that's gotten like you had the same congestion too for like a couple weeks, where like trying to clear your throat, and it's like the mucus is like the consistency of like Spider-Man's web. You know what I mean? Where it's just like this, you can pull. It's like a 100-pound fishing line. It's just like, what the fuck is this, dude? And that little kid can't like get it out. So. If I don't have like something with like a carbonated drink that can kind of boil it out, like club soda or something like that, like kind of help them out. But
Just
he had my
throws it
coughing
up.
fit the last 2 times I picked him up from school. It's like a 45-minute drive back from school to my place. And he's like coughing. I'm like, I'm gonna drink the water, buddy. Hey there. Like just try to like, coach him into like, clearing his throat. And then he just he's like
hot boxing his cough with you.
And then he just basically like, ends up coughing. But it's not like a bacterial cough. It's like there's congestion in his throat.
Oh, I'm
cough.
sure there's bacteria.
I'm sure. I mean, it's not like I'm like trying to rub it on my face. Like, hey, I get to that, But like he definitely, that poor little guy, like is like, spit up on himself. And then he gets like sad. I'm like, it's all right, buddy. And you're just like, he's like scared and you're just kind of like trying to coach him out of it. But like, yeah, man, he just doesn't have the, he's like the kid from South Park will just kind of cough.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fucking.
Yeah. Dad life's real, dude.
Fucking.
But then he gets, when he's like coughing and he's uncomfortable, and that's when he like just lays on my chest and just breathes his little sick breath on my, neck all night. When I'm like, all right, chances of me getting sick are up to 1,000%.
Open mouth, like next to you, like.
It's not even. It's on me, like just.
Oh my god, dude. Well, I said,
dude, I was like buckling his. So we had the spit up incident, right? I cleaned his, car seat up, and then we had to go to the store to get him some meds. But I took him home real quick to change him because he like, spit up on himself, and then get him cleaned up, some new clothes on, put him back in the car seat, buckle the car seat up, and where it clasped in, like some fluid came and like landed in my tear duct, like, yeah, I was like, it was whatever like spit up. I was like, oh my god, like. I was like, I'm gonna like probably have pink eye, like it's gonna be all fucked up. Like there was a chance of me getting
You'll lose an eye. I might lose an eye right now.
No, I'm blind. No depth perception. I was just like, I'm like, and then I want, with my kid, I always got to curb my like swears. I'm like, rats. Just like, shucks.
Shucks.
What's wrong, Dad? Nah, I got this gross nothing stuff in my eye. Just Daddy's not really happy right now.
Daddy's not happy.
Yeah, fuck, man.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
Yeah, it's a little kid that he had a bullying problem with earlier in the year. We had a pizza party, remedied it. Now
that's probably just super gross. Just kids just coughing on food and just eating other food and just, it's probably so gross. I probably couldn't even watch kids eat at this point. Like just seeing how fucking gross it is. And like all these kids are all sick. They're all fucking eating their boogers and fucking kicking their ass and like grabbing pizza, like cross contamination and shit. It's just like,
I've been pretty good at like training him on like, that type of stuff with like, eating at my place. Like, he's got his little greasy little, Domino's pizza hands and stuff. And he's trying to like rub up all of my couch. And like I said, I cleaned my couch a couple weeks ago. Got all the grease and print, all the grossness off there. And then right away, he's like trying to use it as a napkin. I'm like, Anthony, no. Sit down and eat. Got to wipe your hands. And like, he kind of got this like sad look like he was being disciplined. I'm like, no, buddy, you got to just like, look at your hands. So like, again, it's like a teaching moment where like, see how you touch this. Now touch this napkin. You see how that's on there? Well, that's like daddy's couch, but like it's not. And there's just like, this is how germs get transferred. Teach him
to wash his hands. Like after you're done eating, the first thing you do is you go wash your hands, like clean your face, and like make sure you're not like fucking looking like.
So he tried to, so again, he's pottying. And he like, we did the toilet seat thing, touched, and I was like, all right, now I got to wash your hands, like, super thorough. And then the next time he potty, he didn't like touch his privates or the toilet seat. He's like, I don't have to wash my hands. I'm like, yes, you do. You still have to always wash your hands. When you're in the bathroom, you get rid of the fluids and you wash your hands. You can never wash your hands too much. It's always a good thing. Right. Like just like, get in the habit of like, anytime you're in the bathroom, we're just going to wash our hands on principle and stuff. Yeah. And he's getting really good at that stuff, man. He's a smart little kid, man. And even like with this thing too, with this kid, like, this is a kid that like they bit each other's faces. It's like a Hannibal Lecter like face bite off and stuff. And like we had a little pizza party. It kind of remedied it. A few months go by. Now there's like this kid's kind of acting out again, and like there's just like a couple kids were added to the class, a couple kids left. So like the dynamic of friends and like groups have kind of changed. But this kid bit Anthony's finger the other day and then bit him in the face again. And
that same kid.
What the
bit him in the face?
I know. He's on my fucking shit list, dude. So. Anthony was kind of, I'll pick him up from school and I kind of debrief with him like, hey man, so what happened to school? How was school? We kind of go through this day. He's like, so-and-so bit me today. And I was like, what? He's like, I didn't hit him. I didn't say any bad words. I'm like, good for you. And he's like, I apologize. You don't have to apologize. And that's going a little too far. Like, don't say like, I'm sorry you bit me. It's just like, but it was just kind of nice to hear him really kind of take those lessons and try to apply them and stuff. And like, oh dude. So, I've talked about this before, us using like the, BS of the Santa Claus thing to kind of keep the kids in line, right? So his grandmother gets him like these turtles for like Christmas, right? Like he's got his dog. That's like his pet. His first pet is Ace. Dope ass fucking first pet. I love our dog. But then she gets him like these like turtles that stay in this little tiny aquarium about this big. Like they never go on. It's just like it's a fucking pointless turtle. They're tiny little ones, but like Jack and Jill, boy and girl. It's just kind of like a fucking furniture pet, right? Like a fish or like a bird. So it's like, what is that? It's just it's an annoying nuisance that you have that like, I guess there's a novelty for a kid, but like as an adult, just like that's the dumbest fucking pet. And then one of them died.
Because living in a fucking cube.
Because it's funny because I was trying to, here I am trying to tell him like, oh yeah, turtles don't live that long. I'm like, those are like one of the longest living creatures on the fucking planet. I'm like, yeah, buddy, because like his mom told him like, hey, it's, the turtle died. And then like, you could see his little eyes get sad. I was like, it probably wasn't the best to tell him this via FaceTime on the way to school. I was like, this is, we could have done this better.
Right.
But now we've opened that up. And she's like, he's going to go to turtle heaven. And then my son's like, is he going to like come back to life and stuff? Like after we hang up the phone, I was like, now I'm like in this weird thing where I'm like, I don't want to take him to church. His mom takes him to church. I'm not trying to have that argument. At some point in time, he's an adult, or more as a teenager, and has a little more of a grasp on. He's gonna lose grandparents by this time. We have this conversation, and I'm like, "Hey, look, man, you ain't never seen them again. There ain't no such place as hell. Heaven or hell. Like this, they're just dead. This is God. But like he doesn't need to know that right now. But now this like concept of like turtle heaven has happened and stuff, and it's just like he's like, so. And is he gonna wake up? I'm like, nah, you'll see him, after, you'll be in turtle heaven. You can meet up with him. I'm like, Jesus Christ, now I gotta fucking like start running with this lie.
Yeah.
Cause like, but then I was like, in my own mind, I was like, yeah, but like, again, too, like, obviously he's gonna lose family members and stuff. And like that aids to the whole thing of like, I don't think that at the time that my grandfather died, I was like a strict atheist yet. I was still kind of in the belief like, I'll see Daddy Papa. And it was like the next year, I was like, ain't no time ever to see. I was like, within like the, course of like a year, I kind of had that like, revelation. But it's, that's kind of the guys. I'm like, well, I guess we're doing that now. We're just going to, start lying to him about like, this rainbow where all the fucking all dogs go to heaven and shit, or whatever the hell that is.
Yeah,
like the rainbow,
rainbow bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Tell him the real deal. Be like, you know what, man? Like we're all energy, and like just fucking tell him that. Like get that going, get that ball rolling. So then like all the crazy shit,
Dude, the kid's scared of the dark. You're trying to like
make it like just tell him like be like, you know what, like we all live forever. Like we're all like in this, we're all the same. Beings, we're all made from the same thing, stardust, and like like that. That's like kind of
too heavy of a concept to try to lay on a kid, man. He's 4, so there's just like
it's no different than like saying there's a fucking man that lives in the sky and like saying any other crazy bullshit that religion tells you. I think
heaven's too vague to really understand the concept of it and stuff, and
just
it doesn't really matter.
Just tell him to look at the stars and be like, you know where he is? He's in the stars now. Like he's back to where we all came from. We're all fucking stardust. We're all part of this like universe in this world. And like, that's where you end up. Like we're all just part of this. And like, if you ever want to look at him, he's up there. Like, something like that, like kind of cute and kind of like, oh, he can see it. We can't touch it. He can't really, it's just like, that's Mr. Turtle. He's back up there. He's just fucking, part of the energy.
Well, we had the talks about like, because movies and shit will like, talk about death and stuff. So like death has been like a topic that my 4-year-old's already kind of like started to kind of,
I think Ace will be like the bigger one because
for sure.
That's like something that, he's like, where's Ace? That'll be like a big one for him.
But it's funny because I was asking him like, Anthony, do you like Ace more or do you like your turtles more? He's like, my turtles. I'm like, really? Then Ace? And I'm like, but you don't even like cuddle with your turtles or play with them and stuff. I'm like, but you get to cuddle with Ace and stuff. Ace bites me dead.
I was gonna say Ace doesn't hate him and bites him all the time and like is like like anytime he comes around he's all.
But he's still like that's what I love about my kid, man. He's still such a good kid and he'll kind of shake it off. He's like, oh, Ace is being kind of be grumpy and stuff, and it's just like Ace is a good teaching lesson for my kid where like we'll walk with Ace down the sidewalk, right? And Ace will be like start to fucking like growl at the dogs. I'm like, see, Anthony, Ace is kind of mean, and you don't want to be like Ace. You want to be an asshole. You want to be like barking at other people. So that like, Ace tries to pick a fight with anything with a pulse on the street. Birds, rabbits, other dogs. Like he just doesn't like shit. So like, Anthony's nice and he says hi to people. And like, when people don't say hi back to him, he's like, Dad, why didn't they say hi to me? Like he's vocal about that kind of stuff. He's like aware. So like, again, Ace is a good teaching lesson like that. But, and Anthony's still like, will keep trying to like, cuddle or pet him and stuff like that, even though Ace is just like, not really fucking with him. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll learn that as he gets older. He'll have some experiences, and that's probably a good thing to go through, like the death of a pet, hopefully before or after, his grandparents pass away. Like that'll be other monumental things in his life. But speaking of getting older, there is the Grammys that are coming up, and I don't know any fucking. I watched the Grammys like last year, and I don't know any fucking artists. Like they're like nominated Wingbat Zing Flop and Zippity Doo Frank.
Yeah.
I'm like, who in the fuck are any of these people? And then it's like I don't even ever heard the songs. I'm like, what's going on here? Like it's like I think it's like next week or
Sunday.
Sunday. This Sunday. Yeah, it's just like interested to see like that whole thing. Like I think music is just like in a weird spot right now where it's like it's like that AI thing where like there's all these tools that people have now where like they don't really have to be like physically talented. They can be like engineers and like kind of engineer things to make them sound, which is also a creative outlet, and it's hard to do, but it's also takes away from like the raw, like just talent of like a voice and an instrument.
But then you have to look at it this way too, even more to their like, benefit. There's like this, what do you do to make yourself different in like these weird genres now, or like to set yourself aside from the next person? Like, you got to get all those creative tools. And I'm not saying about Pro Tools or it makes you sound like you have a good voice, but like the actual production wise of like, instruments and stuff and like getting their unique sounds.
I mean, I still think regardless of any of the technology that there is, like a great song is still a great song. And usually if you can strip it down to what its bare bones is, which is usually like an acoustic instrument and a voice, it'll still be a great song.
Yeah.
Like, like any of like the Beatles songs or something, if you like, if someone were to jazz it up and put like synthesizers and all this crazy shit on it, if you like strip it away again, it's like, oh, that's still a great song. Like I think that's with the same thing with like so many artists that have kind of stood the test of time, that like, that's why they've stood the test of time, is because they don't have all the bullshit that's on it. They're like a real performer, real artist that you're kind of seeing. Like there's so many times I'm like watching, like, I don't watch late night or anything like any of the late night talk shows and stuff, but they'll have like artists on and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like, this is just like horse shit. This is like, and a lot of them don't sing. They're just like singing to a backing track. And like, there's like so many like smoke and mirrors that go on now with music that I don't relate to it at all. I'm just like, oh, this is, and I think that's just like,
but that's been like that for well over 20 years. I mean, like Britney Spears' whole like career was launched off of like writing team in like Sweden, like the churning out pop hits, and then her just being like a cute, marketable chick that was like underage, which is taboo, and then like just kind of put that together, and there you go, and then like the rest is history. And she wasn't like, and she was kind of like the original, then there was like the Christina Aguilera's, and she had actually had a good voice, you know what I mean? But like same thing too, like all those people were just like pop production, kits. You just plug and play all these things, send them out there. That's just it's the
some
same
of them were,
thing.
like you said, some of them were like very like vocally like talented people,
but they weren't like writing their own hits and stuff like that. And that's like the I think one of the things I've always liked is like the artists that can write their own songs, that like you have like there's an onus to that, like, the lyrics and stuff. But then you go back, man, and like you look at some of like my favorite artists, like Sam Cooke was writing his own shit. James Brown, like a lot of people had like, writers, and then you're like, oh, so it takes away from that too, where there's like this mystique about these, artists that you liked, from like the golden era of music, right? That weren't even writing their own stuff. So it's just like, all right, so how much do you want to really like, look behind the curtain? Like and appreciate the song for what it is.
Well, a lot of them were like collaborations though. And like real collaborations, not like somebody like send them a song, or, like there was like effort from both people, like trying to create something like cool.
But there's also like that folk like, time, like, so the Bob Dylans and Joan Baez's and stuff, the Everly Brothers, they would like trade off who sang like, If I Were a Carpenter, and like, they would just kind of all like, take their, stab at it and stuff. Even the Beatles, like one of their first albums was a bunch of cover songs, right? So it was just them trying to do, like, hey, look at what we can do. We can do these songs. Now here's our originals and stuff. And I don't know. It's kind of always been that. But I think right now with where music is, it's just like, we have a team of ghostwriters. You're a remarkable person with a decent following. Let's just, take you to the next level and all that kind of stuff. And that's again, just kind of like the downfall of most of things in like our society.
Well, there's some drama going on now with like Taylor Swift and that guy from the Kansas or what
Chiefs.
Is he in the Chiefs?
Yeah.
I think is he a quarterback or a wide receiver or something? And because they're dating, so like the mega morons are like, oh, the whole Super Bowl's fixed because Taylor Swift is dating this guy that's in the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl's rigged because they want to have like them Kansas City Chiefs win and Taylor Swift win, and then they're because she's dating this guy, and then she's gonna like say vote for Biden and all this stuff. Like it's all over like the right wing media that this is a huge conspiracy. So like that's where like the right wing media is at right now with like politics and music. They're so desperate. They're like trying to come up with like even crazier conspiracies about like, because Taylor Swift's dating a football player, that like somehow it's connected to politics and you know, changing votes to people and like all this crazy shit. But it's like super like,
I don't know. Good for that guy though. That's like if you look at that dude's like, you know, year in review, it's just like, hey, how was your 2023 season? He's like, it was great. I started dating Taylor Swift, like one of the biggest pop stars of all time. I won the fucking Super Bowl or went to the Super Bowl. But either way, like that's on your fucking like, you know, that was your year. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, and it's funny too, because like the right wing is like all about like anti this whole like thing. They have this huge conspiracy they're just spreading on all their fucking propaganda stations and stuff. And it's like, they're just like jelly. It's like if Donald Trump had Taylor Swift supporting him, he'd be like, fuck yeah, like fucking let's do it. Like, you know, he wouldn't be, but because he's not, and like the people that like the celebrities that he gets are like trash ass celebrities, like Ted Nugent and Vanilla Ice and like fucking like that's like the people that like play shows and like support him and shit. So it's like you have like that compared to like the biggest pop star in the world right now, where like he's like all jelly and like their whole
sweetheart.
Yeah, like it's like, so he's like, this is not fair. This is all rigged and this is it's all this bullshit. It's like so fucking funny to watch, like them just like scraping like the bottom of the barrel, trying to find any excuse to why they're fucking all like losers and stuff. It's just absolutely hilarious. You didn't know anything about that?
Dude, I've been dealing with that fucking scammer thing. I'm like kind of fucking...
yeah, you got your own problems.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is fucking crazy. You got to tell everybody that story.
Yeah, so I moved into a new place a few months ago. And I got a new refrigerator. Like every time I've ever gotten a refrigerator in the 20 years I've lived out here, I got a refrigerator off of Craigslist. And I should have known from just the word go, because I called the place up, and this is the typical
Did you find
shit.
This one off of Craigslist?
Off Craigslist,
Well, there you go.
I'm not even worried about doxing. Van Nuys Appliances, right? I called the guy, and you know, and it's like there was just like typical Craigslist ad. There's a bunch of pictures of shit. I was like, perfect. I just want a white one. You know, these are the specs. And I called the guy up, and like he just does the answer the phone thing. I was like, just like a hello. I'm like, yeah, hi. Is this Van Nuys Appliances? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Well, do you guys sell like refrigerators? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm looking for like a, you know,
He's
white
like, you
one.
want Coke?
Yeah, I was just like, do I need to sell myself one? Like, you should be like, yeah, we do. What kind are you looking for?
Yeah,
like top freezer, bottom, like all this shit. I'm just like, okay, like, do you want to? And I basically, I said this to him. I'm like, well, do you want to like sell me one? Because I'm looking for a refrigerator.
He's
like,
like,
that's your job to sell them. So why don't you try to sell me a refrigerator?
He's like,
because I'm on the phone right now. And I want to buy one.
He's like, you want a stolen refrigerator? I mean, a refrigerator.
You want a hot refrigerator? I mean, cold. We keep stuff cold, but it's hot. But I mean, yeah,
like,
yeah. So I just like, you know, I'm already like, you know, kind of flustered with that kind of shit. So I was like, all right, what's your name? And his name, I think he said it was Randy, but I like, it sounded like Brandon. I'm like, Brandon? Okay, Brandon, why don't you sell me a refrigerator, right? So like, he's like, well, just text me what you're looking for and the price, the one you want, and your address, and then like, you know, we'll send one out like tomorrow and something. I'm like, okay. So I just send it in a text message. I was like, hey, Brandon, this is Tony, the guy that just talked to you. Like, knowing that his name was really Randy, just fucking being a dick. And I was like, this is the refrigerator I want. This is, you know, my address. Like, you know, let me know. Blah blah blah. He hits me back. We set up the date. The guy comes, like whoever, and I don't think it's the same guy that I talked to. It was just some like older white dude with like a ponytail and like missing teeth, and then some like little Mexican dude doing all the lifting and shit, and like, you know, moving the fridge. And like the other guy wasn't helping him push the fridge up the stairs. So now I'm helping them load this refrigerator in my place.
Yeah.
Plug it in. And it makes this noise. And I'm like, hey man, what's that with that noise? He's like, oh, it's just gonna do that till like it cools down, then it'll like click off and stuff. And then sure enough, it did that, but then like seconds later it clicks back on, and then you've been at my place, it had this weird like
it's
like
a high pitch, like
it's fucking bizarre. I can't even describe it. It's like a weird UFO type noise.
It's like, you know when your ear starts ringing,
but then you
and
can
you're like, am I
out.
going deaf? And then it's like it's like that, but it's like always going.
But
on.
I've always worked with some kind of white noise, so I'm like good at like just kind of turning that sensory off, right? So I'm just like, all right, just tune it out. Like I've had people over and like, and I was like, yeah, man, I gotta get that fridge fixed. That's what that noise is? Yeah, you gotta get that fixed. And like, it was definitely like a known thing where I'm like, ah, shit, now I got the fucking weird fridge noise and so yeah. And then, you know, a couple weeks ago,
you go to weird fridge Tony's?
Yeah. I'd go to Tony's house, nice place, but he's got that weird fridge noise. Like, I was like, Anthony, let's take a nap. He's like, I can't take a nap, Dad. The refrigerator is too loud. I'm like, now the fridge is getting in the way of my kids' naps and shit. I was like, fuck. So
it's ruining my life.
I call the place back up while it's still under warranty. It's like rolling into the holidays. They can't come out. Basically, it's not the most pressing thing in my life, so I just kind of let it, fall to the wayside. But I feel like since I probed out, told them that I had a problem, we didn't really get a chance to fix it. I was already like, I put my, my little grievance in before the warranty expired and shit. So, cut to like yesterday, I call him back and I'm like, hey, so, I call the guy up and then this time he answers. Van Nuys Appliances. I'm like, hey, yeah, I bought a refrigerator from you guys a little while back and it's making this noise. It was making the noise since I got it from you guys. Your service guy came out because I actually, called them to have someone come check it out. And he's like, said it was the condenser and it's broken. So it's not worth fixing. I need a new refrigerator. So like, what's the next step? And the guy goes, yeah, I'm sorry. Like they're out of business. I'm like, who's out of business? And he's like, Van Nuys Appliances. I'm like, but you just answered the phone. Hey, this is Van Nuys Appliances. He's like, yeah, that was my phone. I'm like, no, that was you answering your phone. Hey, this is Van Nuys Appliances. And then he's like, takes a beat and all says click and he hangs up and I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, you're like, no one's home. Like, you can't do that. Like, that's like not how this works, dude. You just can't like pretend that like this is not a thing. So now I'm on this like, like basically like I had it would not been raining and I had to like drop my kid off at school. I was about to pull up on the address on like the service order and shit, but I called him today anyways. And then the guy answers the phone and I figured he probably has my name saved as like, don't answer something. So he answers and just like, hello. I'm like, yeah, hi, who is this? He's like,
click.
He's like, Randy. I'm like, oh, Randy. I'm like, is this Van Nuys Appliances? He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm looking to buy a refrigerator. And I was like, so now I'm going to like try to like send him to another address or just basically just like fuck it because I paid cash on delivery, right? So I'm like, fuck it. What are you going to fucking track me down? Like, I'm not giving you any money. Like, you can't prove that. I'm going to, so basically.
What's the most expensive unit you got?
Yeah, let me get 3 of those. Bring them all over here.
I'm on the 14th floor. It's all stairs.
Yeah, exactly.
What a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
And he calls up and he's like,
we're here.
Just click.
Yeah, you just come right on up. I'll buzz you in.
So he said the second time you called today when you called, he was like, yeah,
they're back in business again.
Back in business.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
you should have just had like me or someone else call and like get a
what is it? This is like far from over. We're about to just kind of
So you're like past the point of like trying to get them to replace
I already bought a new refrigerator.
Oh,
bought a refrigerator yesterday.
Yeah. So now you're just fucking with them.
I was like, since this thing has been broken and like it always seems like it's at nighttime when it's making that weird hum, noise, squeal, that I'm like, I gotta fix this thing. So I'll be like in my phone looking at like, good refrigerators and shit. I'm not buying another used one. I'm buying a brand new one. So like Lowe's had one like damn near half price and like, with free delivery and it's like $50 from the hallway, that piece of shit I bought from them. So I was like, all right, well, I got all that shit. I'm just getting delivered tomorrow and stuff. But I was like, since I'm not getting my money back, plus like this, the way this, like the fact that the guy pretended like, we're not home. Like I know I'm not getting my money back, but now I have a even bigger incentive. Not only have time to do this, but I will make time on my break or whatever the fuck it is to fucking prank a whole business because I'm that immature. And it's just like, dude, you fucking screwed me over. I cannot stand that kind of scammy shit, man. That's like that same time I got that fucking gypsy that did that dent removal in my car. I just like tried to have me pay for vandalizing my car. It's like, no, this isn't how this works, dude. Like,
did you ever see that meme? It was like, on like Facebook Marketplace, like if you post something on there, it's like notorious for like people lowballing you or Craigslist or something like that, So you'll post something for $500 and someone will be like, hey, I'll would you take, I'll give you,
trade you a nickel.
I'll give you $100 for it. And you're like, it's for $500. Like, why would I give you $100? And so like this meme is like it's like a text chain from the guy trying to sell something, and then his response to like the guy like trying to buy it and lowballing him and shit. And so this guy responds, he's like, yeah, I'll give you 100. And he's like, all right, cool. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. And then he's like, he's like, where do you want to meet up at? And he gives him the address and shit. He's like, yeah, I'll be there at this time and all this stuff. And then the guy pulls up and he's like, yeah, where you at? And I don't see you anywhere. And he's like, I'm in front of a comedy club. And he's like, yeah, tell those jokes to someone else. You know? Like, do that shit to that guy. Tell that fucking trash to somebody else.
Yeah, that's
Van Nuys
appliances, dude.
Appliances. Watch out if you're buying from them.
It's funny because then, like, you know, I had the paperwork and I just like, again, from the first number, it's like it's the same exact phone number on all the shit, like the ad, the guy, you know. You have
is it just on Craigslist? Like,
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Did you
like,
Google it? Did they even have like a storefront, or is it like some out of somebody's house, or it's like? Exactly. I think your first mistake was going on Craigslist. Craigslist is notorious just for
but
fucking
like I said,
the
for
black
20
market,
years,
like,
I've never had a problem buying a refrigerator off Craigslist. Never had a problem. I bought numerous refrigerators, like every apartment and shit, like the ones we had too. Those were Craigslist fridges. Sometimes we'd pick them up because we had fucking trucks, and there's two of us, right? But like
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, 20 years I've been doing this. These like Craigslist
nobody uses
refrigerator
Craigslist
deals
anymore. Like, do you see like even their webpage has not changed at all? It's still like the old HTML, whatever, like the coding. It's like all trashy. Like, God, what the fuck was it? There's like so many, like they have even a subcategory on Craigslist is lost connections, which is a weird thing to have. Yeah. So it's like if you went somewhere and you saw someone that like, like misconnections. If you saw someone that you're like, oh, I really wish I would have said something. You can like post on there like, I was at the coffee shop and there was somebody that I ran into or saw, and like, what is your name? Please like read like all sorts of weird shit. Like it's like
Van Nuys appliances. There it is. That's so hilarious. 2 stars.
2 stars. that's pretty bold. 2 stars.
But the fact that like Randy, hello, is an absolute worst and extremely rude. Yeah, we called him and tried to sell our...
And the food wasn't getting cold. Yeah, that's usually the main thing you want with a fucking refrigerator, is it to get cold. Yeah, I bought a fridge. The fridge is pretty hot, great,
too. She lives in that. Okay.
Call up that girl. Call up Christine. So mad.
Randy has sold me a stove.
All these reviews are fucking like 4 pages. Like they're so long. Like nobody writes like a good review with like a 1-star review. Like that was the best 1 star. No, these are like.
Well, it's funny because I said like, you know,
my dryer broke. I can't fix it. You didn't. Again, I do blame you partly for that. If you would have just done what Alex did in the last
I said,
minute, please do yourself a favor and avoid this place like the plague.
It says this business is not BBC, BBB, Better Business Bureau accredited. Yeah, that's funny.
Holy shit.
F.
So they're just like scamming people left, right. Who wrote a 5-star? What is a 5-star? Love the store, right? That's you know that's from them. Yeah. You know that's the guy Larry or where the fuck you got the thing from. He's like, oh, I better fucking have myself or my cousin.
This 1 5-star review will counter out 4 bad 1-star reviews.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. All these are massive. Hey
man.
You know, that's I put that half
you know
on
what
you.
It is, so Eric,
half
it's
on
just
you.
Like again. Okay,
and,
I agree. It's 100% on me. 100% on me. But
they're scamming people. If anybody did any type of Googling, they would have been like, "This place is a fucking scam."
Yeah, I agree. And I am a sucker for a scam because I'm an honest guy. And when I give someone my word, I will show up, I will do my fucking best, and I'll fucking do it for the price that I quote you at. That's my shit. I assume since people are fucking grown adults, we do the same thing, but I get fucked all the time. That's like, you know, again, I'm starting to learn these lessons.
Don't get choked up about it.
No, I'm like, trying not to burp on the fucking mic.
They fucking
look, man, gave me a shitty... The guy just trying to buy a fridge, man.
Gave me a shitty fridge. He took my money.
The guy's just trying to keep his food cool for his kid.
Called him and fucking
someone's taking a nap.
Say wrote business.
But like when the actual thing kicks off, my son goes, Dad, the fridge is quiet again. That fridge is too loud. It's just
a miracle.
Yeah. So I'm like, I can't wait, man, when I have my son.
You should write a fucking crazy ass review like these people did. Like, ruined my kid's life. He wasn't sleeping for days. He bit a kid's face
got
because
bags in his eyes like me now. He used to be able to sleep. He doesn't sleep anymore.
Kids started biting people's faces after this fridge. These fridges are possessed.
Yeah.
Just leave like the craziest review too.
I think I'm going to start sending the guy on wild goose chases and shit and start calling from a proxy number, like those Google numbers and shit. I'm like, oh yeah, come over. I got a whole bunch of refrigerators. Bring as many guys and trucks as you can. I'll sell them to you real cheap.
I would like to buy 18 refrigerators. Yeah. Yeah, just call like once a week and just use a different name and just send them on goose chases. Because apparently you'd be doing all these people a favor because they all got fucked. All 10 pages of these people that are all just fucking livid about their experience with this company.
My other like gripe that I have that was like, so I'm getting like, you know, all these like things that like I get like kind of mad at and shit. And like, you know, I'm going back to the gym again. Yeah, if you probably couldn't tell because this flannel, but getting swole. And there's like the you know, the crop of people like the post New Year's resolution, like I'm gonna go work out. And I think I might have been telling you this, like the gym, and you know, I usually take like an edible before I go there. So like by the time it starts to really kick in, I'm like already kind of worked out and I'm like, I just feel good leaving there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like it starts to go through you and shit. But weed for me is a truth serum. So like I'll definitely say what's on my mind when something happens. So I was trying to get in on a machine. There's like this like one particular like seated incline bench press machine. And there's like a duffel bag, like a flannel, and like a Ralph's bag by it. And I was like, is this like a homeless person's like belongings? Is their life contents? Like, what is this? And I'm working around it. And then no one's there for like the entire time I do a whole other, you know, exercise. So I'm like, fuck, I'm just gonna slide to the side and get in there. And this kid comes over and he's like, hey man, I'm using that. I'm like, no, you're not. Like, you haven't been over here for like, oh yeah, I'm about to get in there. We're doing like a superset. I was like, all right, whatever. I'm not gonna like get like, you know, that mad. So I cool myself down. I go use another machine. While I'm doing that, I just see this kid just kind of standing there, not using it. And I was like, all right, now I'm starting to get like, you know, a little bit mad. I started to get a little ragey here. Show that. And like, I got the pre-workout going through me. I've been working out. I got the weed truth serum and show that. Like, I'm just like, and this fucking kid's being a dick, right? And it's just like, you can't do that. There's a thing called etiquette at a gym, right? So he leaves the machine again and then walks over by his little buddies using the other machine. And those dudes are like legit supersetting, working out together and stuff. And as he's walking past me, I like pull my, you know, AirPod out. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm like, we're like doing a superset. I'm like, no, you're fucking not. You're just fucking like hogging machines. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this isn't how that works. Like, this is not a superset. You're just standing there and your buddies are working out. So like, are you going to use he's like, do you want to work in it? I'm like, no, I don't want to fucking work in it. I want you to fucking like know that you're being a dick and you're like hogging equipment. There's a thing called etiquette in a gym and you're not doing it. And then like he fucking is like, looks at me all confused, like put my fucking headphone up, all just like mad old crotchety dad guy with the white beard, just like, ugh, like just like working out and then like fucking end up like going over there and just using the shit anyways, just like bully my way in there. I'm like, God, I fucking hate people.
Yeah,
like,
dude, that's why you just need to get some weights and work out at home, dude, bro.
Because here's the thing.
Yeah, because here's the thing. People are shitty. People suck. We see it all the time. We're around people all the time. When I leave my apartment, I'm like, here we go. There's going to be some fucking idiots that I'm going to have to deal with, or someone driving dumb, or fucking walking stupid, or fucking open mouth coughing, or fucking doing something that just pisses me off. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do myself a favor. I'm just going to instead of going to a gym and dealing with fucking idiots and meatheads and stuff, and like people talking or trying to like hook up or meet with people and do other things that are not about the gym or have bad etiquette with gym equipment and not cleaning it and all these things. You can go down a laundry list of things. So just get some weights. You don't need a shit ton of weight. They have the Bowflex dumbbells that go up to 90 pounds. It's plenty of weight. That's more weight than anybody needs. And you can get great workouts at home. And then you can put on a show that you like, a podcast, this one maybe, and fucking just get a good workout in. And you have to deal with anything. You know that everything's clean. You don't have to wait about somebody doing a superset.
The 5 minutes it takes you to set up your own home gym. I can be at the gym and there's like a plethora of shit.
That's the dumbest fucking excuse not to have a home gym.
I have a home gym.
You need a bench and 2 dumbbells that go up to 90 pounds.
It's different,
it takes up the space of like a 5 foot by 4 foot or something. Like it's like the size of a prison cell. That's really all the size you need to do any workout ever. And you don't need to go to a gym. Like within a year's time of the monthly fees you're paying, you can have all the gym.
Wait till we have a flex off on this fucking show, dude. Show my gym physique.
Like, I'm just saying, like, you don't need to go to a gym. It's so easy. Not like, I went to gyms with you for years. I went to gyms at home for years, and the same things would always happen. And it's just kind of like, then having to wait for stuff. It's just bullshit. It's just like unless you're going there to like try to like meet people or some shit, or like you're new to an area maybe, and you're like, oh, I don't really get out much.
You know damn well you get like a really good workout if you work out with somebody and you like, you know, spot on a bench. There's just it's a different thing, and you can't deny that you can't get the same thing in a home gym. You get rid of all the riffraff bullshit, true, but like again, I know myself, and I know like for me, going to a designated place to work out, I'm gonna get a better workout in, and I have to fucking like, you know, take that as part of the territory and shit.
I will say that there's more likelihood of you being injured because you're trying to push yourself further because there's all these strangers watching and seeing, looking, and
I like
talking.
how that was your compromise. You're like, well, I will say I'm still right. And there's
I am right.
It's like
a gym is trash. A gym is the fucking, I don't care. The most expensive gym, the cheapest gym, they're all trash. They're all fucking bullshit. It's people that haven't figured out that you can just do this shit at home and the privacy of your own home and just knock it out and do it. If you're not,
where am I gonna wear my cute gym outfits at, Eric?
Yeah, you're not gonna see like the cutesy girl fucking working out or whatever. But like at the same time, it's like, what? How many times you're at the gym that have I gone with you or myself included, where like, oh wow, there's someone there. Like, oh, I'm gonna strike up a conversation. Like, no, you just don't, because it's like not the place to do any of that. You just go there to work out. They're there to work out. They're not there to fucking like meet. And then those people that are fucking kind of weird. It's like, all right, I'm here to work out. I don't want to fucking talk to you. I'm not like, hey, like there'd always be these weird people that would fucking be like trying to talk to you and like have these conversations. Then
there's always an ulterior motive. Though. I feel like most of like the dudes
weirdos that are doing like fucking like rah, like yelling. And
so
like,
there's a guy today.
Shit. It's so
I've never
fucking
seen this.
Stupid.
Like he had he was doing like a flat bench, right? But there's like he had a plate not completely up to like the nut on the fucking bar. Yeah. It was like spaced out. Then another one spaced out like 6 inches all the way to the end, where like looked like if he went in any direction they were gonna start coming off. I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, is this your first time? Like,
did you ever see
but
those?
He's also working out with fucking like Timberlands on with no laces, and like a cut off polo shirt, and like.
Yeah,
like,
people working out in jeans and shit.
Yeah,
I see that all the time.
Dude.
Like, do you ever see those those videos, those clips of like, it's like it's reactionary where it's like, you know, a guy goes into the gym and he's just standing there and he's looking around, and then they put in clips of like dumbasses at the gym. I'm like, yeah, that's the gym. I'm like, that's why I don't go to the gym anymore. It's just filled. There's at least one of those assholes in one of those clips that are at every single gym that you have to deal with. They're not going to leave. They've paid their membership. They're there forever. And they're like, that's their home. Like, that's like, they feel like, oh yeah, like I'm doing something good. Like they're trying to fucking do all the things that you're not supposed to do at a gym. Like meet people, fucking talk to people, fucking not work out, fucking working out wrong, having no courtesy of like the equipment and like time and all this shit. It's just all all bullshit.
Alex is like my gym buddy. He's also an angry little dude, and angry dude, not to be, you know, call him little, but angry person.
He's a tall guy. He's tall. He's a tall 5'8".
He's 5'7" or whatever he is. But
I'll give him 5'9".
Both of us, like, I checked into the gym the other day, and I was like, we didn't go together, right? I ended up like getting in there. I go to check in, and I like swipe my little fucking, you know, QR code, and I say hi to the guy behind the desk, and he just fucking like stares through me. And I was like, and like it pissed me off. So
again.
Another
reason
job.
not to go to the gym.
You're literally a fucking greeter. That is your job. Greet me. I said hi. I already did the majority. All you do is respond. I initiated. You're supposed to be, dude. Every fucking service job I've ever had is like the first. You have 7 seconds for me to see someone to say, you know, hello. And there's always that kind of weird rule.
That's the first thing that's wrong in that conversation. It's the first job that you've ever had and how you would act. That's how you would be. Most people are fucking
standard,
stupid.
man. Training is like you're supposed to do that shit.
They're not. They're worse.
Regardless,
we talk about it all the time.
I was in my feelings about it, and I was like, and then I actually said something on my breath. I'm like, that's fucking weird. Like, you know, like I went about my business, fucking like scan my validation for my fucking like parking ticket. And I'm like, mad. I'm like, you know what, dude, on the way out, I'm going to fucking say something to that guy. If he doesn't fucking say something, it's just like, I was like carrying all this fucking anger because that shit pisses me off, dude. And again, it's because of the thing too, when I'm like walking my dog with my kid and I say hi to somebody and my kid, you know, is aware enough to say like, Dad, they didn't say hi back. I'm like, yeah, because they're a fucking asshole. But I don't say that. I'm like, yeah, because they're a mean person, Anthony. And then that person with an earshot, they get like, oh, maybe I should do some self-evaluation and shit. But that my kid's no longer there for like to be the buffer. So now I'm just this angry guy. And I come around to the free weight section of the gym, And I run into Alex and he's like, hey, what's wrong? I'm like, this fucking guy at the fucking front desk. He's like, the fuck dude. He's like, bro, that fucking guy. I said hi to him. He didn't say hi to him. He's back. I'm like, yeah, fuck that guy. So now we're like both angry over this fucking guy that's like the fucking check-in guy at the fucking thing. And like, Alex and I were like working out. So like now we're like separately working out. I'm like, dude, we should fucking like prank call this place.
Your conversation is further proving me right. You know that, right?
What?
Like everything that you're talking about just proves that like you shouldn't go to the gym. It's a horrible place. Like every scenario that you're talking about, I
shouldn't go in public, Eric.
Is why I don't go to the
literally
gym.
Like a crotchety old man that like still has faith in this fucking society, but I get disappointed at every turn. Every time I go somewhere, the fucking this doesn't work. There's no longer that anymore. It's just like, what the fuck happened? And it doesn't matter where I go in life. And it's not just the gym. It's just everywhere. I know. And I have to say something about it. Like I have to. I take it upon myself,
out, dude.
I don't
go out anywhere.
Dude, when I went to that concert a few weeks ago at the Palladium, we stopped at this restaurant. We all met up at 800 Degrees, which is a restaurant close to that place, right? I get there. I have to take a piss. The first thing I do anywhere I ever go is always take a piss, right? And the chick's like, are you a customer? I'm like, I'm about to be. Once I like, go to the bathroom, she's like, you can't use the bathroom unless you like, purchase something. I'm like, okay, I'll take a beer, please. And then she gives me I got a Lagunitas bottle. And she slides it across the counter. I pay for it. She's like, do you want me to open it? I'm like, yeah, I didn't bring a fucking bottle opener. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, here, I'm going to open this. And then I'm like, I'm going to keep this here so I don't take it in the bathroom. Now, can I use the fucking bathroom, please? And she's like, yeah, the code's on your receipt. I'm like, you didn't give me my receipt. Like, what the fuck is wrong with everybody? Like, why do I have to do your job? Like, again, like, okay, so simple customer service thing. Here you go, sir. Here's your receipt. The fucking, code for the bathrooms on the bottom. Here's your freshly opened beer. It's just like, I don't need you to explain how to do your job for every time I go somewhere. Last thing I'll fucking vent about, cops. And it's not just a fucking like police brutality thing. Why is no one busting these fucking the Rough Riders going down Sunset in Hollywood on the dirt bikes, dude? I do not get it. Like, how am I getting fucking like, if I go 7 over in a school zone, I'm getting a ticket, yet you have an uninsured, unlicensed, unregistered motorcycle.
No license.
No nothing. Just fucking doing havoc and street takeovers.
They took over.
And cops are just kind of sitting like, I wonder if like, this guy's only got 2 more minutes before his fucking like meter expires. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why are you not stopping? Dude, the Target below LA Fitness. I was in there the other day and some guy runs in and grabs a bottle and runs out and the security guy just kind of looks. I'm like, why aren't you securing this place? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, stop, trip the guy. Fucking like do something. And instead just kind of like, oh, well, I guess what are you just gonna fucking like observe and report? You're just documenting shit at this point. Like, I fucking like, I'm just. Yeah, I wish I didn't have a kid. I wish I didn't fucking create somebody to fucking go through this dumb society unless my kid's gonna run for fucking office. I don't know.
Keep them inside. Don't let them talk to people. Don't go to places like airports, bars, clubs, anywhere there's a big group of people. Just avoid all those places. But that being said, that's why I stay inside. I don't go out. I don't do a bunch of shit. You're the opposite. You go and you meet, you mingle, you do all these things. That's why you have all these horrible stories. That's why I stay inside, so I don't have all these horrible stories.
I will say I do have like equal stories about meeting people that are nice and do nice things and shit. And like there is like, but they don't stick out as much as the ones where there's just like, if something can go wrong, it goes wrong at every point in turn where you're just like, you have to try to fuck this up as bad as you do. And then there's like this shit where like, man, I fucking like, there's a scenario, we're out of time, but like, I'll think of it for the next fucking podcast. But it was literally like, at every point in the interaction, they fucked up. And then there was still like, they slid the fucking thing for me to pay. And they were like, kind of like, you gonna tip me? I'm like, all I want to do is tell you how much you suck at your fucking job. But like, because I work in an industry that like tips what pays me is my livelihood, I can't not tip you. But really, I needed to give you like a written essay and a fucking critique of your performance and how you need to fucking correct it and ship. That's what I should do. I'll think of that story next time.
Where can people find you, Tony?
You can find me angry at the LA Fitness on Hollywood. You can find me stalking Van Nuys Appliances and pranking them. If you would like to, their number is 818-256-9925. Van Nuys Appliances. Try to come at me. You can't fucking sue me. I'll fuck you up. Fuck you up. I'm at Tony Klein Comedian on Instagram. I feel like I'm getting fucking like blush in the face from the rage. Eric, where can I find you?
They can find me
aside from me next to the angry guy on the couch
in a peaceful state of mind at my apartment. You can find me on Instagram at Eric Rustler. You can find this podcast at the Eric and Tony Show on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Every week we post a full episode on YouTube of the full video, so you can watch this, sit down, have a beer, listen to us talk, and bitch about shit. Same thing on Spotify. Every week on Monday we post the full episode, so you, if you're working or something, you can listen to us. And then we do 60-second clips throughout the week of little bits of all these rants and ravings that we do, talking to each other and talking shit. And if you want to support the podcast, go to the ericandtonyshow.com, buy yourself a beer mug or a t-shirt and show your support. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you at the next one. Peace.
Yay.